Hey, welcome back to Cracks Country Cooking. I'm Ben, and today we're making a pepper jack mac and cheese topped with pickled jalapeno. So, 8 ounces of Velveeta, 8 ounces of sharp cheddar, and 8 ounces of pepper jack cheese. We're going to season the cream cheese with Malcolm's Hero Greek jalapeno seasoning. Just a light dusting, don't need much. Now we'll put these on the top rack of the Green Mountain Grill. I got a smoke tube in there and we're just going to cold smoke these for an hour. Alright, I got the smoke tube in here. We're going to cold smoke this cheese. We're going to put them on the upper rack and we'll let it go for an hour. After an hour of smoking, we're going to fire this up. I'm going to leave the cream cheese on here to soften up a little bit more. We'll pull the cheese off. We're going to put that in a bag and put it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to let it get pretty cold before we start to shred it. While the cheese was finishing cold smoking, I took some capitelli noodles, boiled them just about a minute before al dente. You really want them to be a little bit firmer because we're going to bake these again. Also saved 2 to 3 ladles of the starchy water before I dumped out the noodles because we'll need that. That'll help emulsify the cheese sauce before we pour it in the mac and cheese, before we pour it in with the noodles. So while we wait for the cheese to cool down so we can grate it, we're going to take 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. You don't have to use cream of mushroom, you can use cream of chicken. I prefer the cream of mushroom. If you have somebody that's afraid of the little bits of mushroom that are in it, like my kids, I heat it up with 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Once it's nice and liquidy, I strain it out through a fine mesh strainer and then put it back in, and then we put our cheese stuff in there. So let's get that in here. 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Whisk that together and then slowly heat it up. And once it's pretty liquidy and it'll pass through a strainer, pour it through. Now it's warmed up. You can see it's pretty loose. I did put a ladle's worth of the pasta starch water in there. Now you can just pour it through the strainer. That'll get rid of all the little bits of the mushrooms that weird people and kids are afraid of. Like I said, you can use cream of chicken if you want to. You don't want to use the mushrooms, but I think the mushrooms give it a better flavor. And you can see all the pieces are out. Nice smooth creaminess is left in the bowl. Don't forget to scrape some of this off. We're going to slowly bring this to a simmer. Once it's simmering, we'll take it off and then we'll add our cheeses to it. You really don't want to keep heating it once the cheese is added to it because it can break the emulsification and then you'll have a grainy cheese sauce. Bechamel, if you would. So we can grate our cheddar first. The Monterey Jack is a lot lower temperature melting cheese, so that needs a little bit more time because it'll just smear if you try to grate it while it's still kind of warm. You can smell the smoke on this. It's not overpowering, it's just a little bit. And the smoker, the pellet smoker, I'm going to have set up at 350 degrees, so you're going to get very little smoke from that. So all our smoke is really coming from cold smoking the cheeses. I think you get a better product that way. Now this is simmering again. What we will do is we're going to add our 2 blocks of cream cheese. And I like to use 2 blocks. I really want this nice and creamy. So we'll break this up. The cream cheese is nice and softened, so it shouldn't take too long for this to just mix together nicely. We got our cheddar, we got our Monterey Jack. See, this is already nice and come together. Now what we'll do is we'll add a 1/4 cup of mayo. Yes, mayo, I know. Nice and creamy is what you want. It's also got that sound already. You want just a little bit of ground nutmeg. That's it. And it's slight, but you need it. A little less than a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Dijon brings out the cheese flavor and stuff, and it's really good in the mac and cheese. Helps cut through some of the smokiness. All right, I'm going to put this back on the heat, let it warm up a little bit more, and then we can add our cheeses. I still got to cube up the Velveeta that we smoked. Be back in a minute. Now this is just about simmering, you know, just a couple blobs of, you know, shit popping up. We'll add our Velveeta. Pretty much add it all at once because this is already warmish from this cold smoke. Just mix that in, let it melt in. Once that's all melted and there's no more chunks of Velveeta, then we can add our other cheeses. Now's a good time to reheat up that starchy pasta water to help keep this warm while we start mixing in the cheeses. But that's pretty much what you want. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. Now what we'll do is we'll add some of our cheddar. Let that mix in and melt. Some of our Monterey Jack. Mix that in. Go back and forth. You only want to put about half of the cheese in that you grated because we're going to put the rest on the top. Now we'll just keep mixing this until it's all melted. See, it's pretty thick now, so what I'll do is some of that hot pasta water, I'll just add a little bit in at a time, just a couple tablespoons at a time, and that should help. Don't forget to make a mess all over your table. A little bit more. Don't worry if you make it a little on the thin side. It'll be fine once it's in with the noodles. The noodles will absorb it. It's part of the reason that you cook them below al dente, like a minute before al dente, because they're going to bake and they will absorb some of this liquid. It's nice bechamel. We'll just add a little bit more. Like I said, that should be it. Give it a good mix, incorporate it well, and then we'll get the noodles ready. I have a burner over here on warm. We'll just throw that back on there just to keep it warm. So here's our capitelli noodles, or however you pronounce it. I like the corkscrew design. It holds a lot of the cheese sauce in there. Perfect, I think, for baked mac and cheese. Just run your fingers through, make sure it's all loosened up. Because they've been sitting for a little bit. They're cooled back down, room temperature. Just want to break them up so they're not stuck together. Now we'll pour our cheese sauce right over. That's perfect. So we'll pour a bunch in. Mac and cheese always needs more sauce than you actually think it does. So, put that there. Got a mix. See, that looks pretty good, but I want more. So we'll add almost the rest of it. You almost don't want to be able to see the noodles, like what the shape they are, because you really want this to be creamy. You don't want it to be dry. So we'll set that aside. Here's our pan. I'll pour some more of that cheese sauce in there. Smooth it out. Now we'll just pour this whole thing in. That looks pretty good, just like that. I don't think we need any more of the cheese sauce. Spread it out so it's pretty smooth. Now we'll take the rest of our cheddar, Monterey Jack, mix it together, and we'll sprinkle a layer on the top. We'll just add a nice little cheese layer to the top. Now, on top of that, we're going to add a layer of pickled jalapenos. Putting the pickled jalapenos on the top will help cut the richness. This is pretty rich. It's got a lot of cheese in it. All right, so now I'm going to sprinkle the top with some TX brisket rub. Help finish the seasoning. We'll go throw this out in the smoker. I got the Green Mountain pellet smoker set at 350 degrees. Throw it out there. So here it is. It's time to dig in. Look at that. Well, there she is. Looks pretty good. Let's give it a try. It's so creamy. I mean, look at it. Nothing's dry in there. This is so good. There's nothing worse than a dry mac and cheese. What's nice with this, there's no roux, so it makes it pretty simple. You can't tell that there's even a mushroom-based sauce in here. That pickled jalapeno gets a little crunchy from baking on the top. The pickle brine really cuts through the cheese. From cold smoking the cheese, you get a nice little bit of smoke. It's not overpowering, it's not bitter. And then we're baking at 350 degrees, 400 degrees, just like it's in your oven. And you don't really get too much smoke at that temperature anyway. Hey, that's our video. If you could please hit that like and subscribe button, share, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you make it, tag me, let me know. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, of course. Go to crackscountrycooking.com. I got recipes and stuff like that up there. Yeah, you gotta make this, gotta try it. It's pretty good. I'll have affiliate links in the description for all the how to barbecue right stuff. All right, see ya. It's dinner time.